The AGN would like to thank our sponsor, Wirecast. Wirecast software lets you produce professional-looking live events with just a camera, an internet connection, and a computer. Stream or record live internet shows, broadcast breaking news or sporting events, stream live concerts, transmit church services, corporate meetings, lectures, and much more. Wirecast, your webcasting presentation solution.
Welcome to Araxis Global Network, the premier voice of objective reporting, covering the events that affect your world, your life, and your PlanetSide 2 news and information. We cover what it means to be a PlanetSide 2 fan. You love the game, you will love the AGN. We are your #1 source of all things PlanetSide 2, featuring spot-on and up-to-date updates. Yes, we said up-to-date updates that will promise to whet your appetite for PlanetSide 2 news. Will you find cutting-edge information as well as breaking news screenshots on AGN? Does a pole dancer have thighs that can crush your head? Yes! And now, introducing your distinguished hosts, your friends and fellow PlanetSide 2 groupies, Hamma and Marsman.
Hello, everyone. Hamma here with Marsman.
Good evening, folks.
For another community night for April 2012. We've got quite a few topics to go over here tonight. We're going to be talking about PAX East. We're going to be talking about driver, tank gunner debate, which has always been a pretty hot one.
Yes, that should be interesting.
Indeed. And I'm going to go ahead and Jenny Boo is also here with us tonight. And I can't find her. There she is.
Hi, guys.
And we've got the usual community folks with us tonight as well. We're going to be talking about, like I said, all those different items. We're also going to be talking about the new PSU website a little bit so that we can get some feedback, some kind of a real-time feedback on it. So, but it's going to be a great jam-packed show, and be sure to check out the new PAX Q&A that's up on PlanetSide Universe right now.
Yes, good read.
MG Falcon had a chance to sit down with Higby out at PAX East in Boston, and had a great Q&A with him. We got quite a few questions answered, not all on the list, unfortunately, but the majority of it, and there's some pretty good tidbits in there that you can kind of sink your teeth into. So be sure to check that out. We'll be talking about that. Hopefully all of our community participants took some time to read through it before we actually get started. I didn't even think of that. We should have given them some heads up on that.
Yeah, but that's true. That's true.
But so that's kind of the plan here for tonight. We're going to go ahead and bring in our community guests and let them introduce themselves. I'm going to just turn away for a moment.
Jump on the other screen and bring our guest in live.
Indeed.
Yes.
And so we're going to go ahead and let everybody introduce themselves.
Before we need to get Grey Wolves back in here.
Oh, did he leave us?
He had a connection issue.
Okay. We'll get him back in. I'll go ahead and let Marsman here start introducing everyone, and everybody can just kind of say their outfit and who they're with and all that.
All right. We'll start off right at the top of the list, as we usually do, with the incomparable, insufferable, and always present Basti.
Fuck's sake. I'm unprepared. Basti, PlanetSide veteran since 2004. Playing with Rhino Corp, always a VS. Always has been a VS, always will be a VS. Next.
All right. And thank you, Basti. All right. Coming up next is Captain Insanio.
It's nice being the traditional second. Also VS, we're along with Basti. Been playing for longer than Basti. Just want to throw that out there because, why not?
Nice.
Former member and outfit leader of the Final Stand SJ, and not as active as I used to be in the community, but always glad to read everything that's going on.
All right, Captain, thanks. Welcome back for another time. And I think a relative newcomer this time, right, Hammer?
That is correct.
All right, we got Carbano.
Hey everybody, it's Carbano. I've been playing since 2004. Active caver, proud of it, and been enlisted in the military since 2008, so I don't really get much time to play time, but I've been really excited for PlanetSide 2.
Excellent. All right, well, welcome to the show. And next up we have Grey Wolves.
What's good, everyone? As you said, I'm Grey Wolves. I'm Terran Republic. I've been playing Terran Republic ever since the moment I started playing the game. in around 2004, 2005. Really long time ago, I can't remember as well. But I've also been in Dark Skies ever since virtually just after I created my character. And I'm loyal to the grave with my empire and my outfit.
All right, Grey Wolves, thanks so much. And last but not least, we have Deathshot.
Thank you. I'm Deathshot. I've been playing since 2004 as an NC soldier. Been in 2 outfits. One was the NC's D2A Emerald, and now I'm currently with the new conglomerate Blue Lions. For the last 5 years.
Welcome to the show. And that rounds out our guest of participants here on TeamSpeak. So
Awesome.
Back to Hammer.
Indeed, and TR for life. Thank you there,
Yes.
Grey Wolves. I concur with that.
Indeed. Indeed.
We're going to kind of start things off to talk about PSU a little bit. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it, but I kind of wanted to get your guys' thoughts on it kind of real time so that I'm going to put everybody on the spot in real time and kind of ask your opinion of the new PSU layout. What do you guys think of it?
Pretty good. There's a large
Shiny.
thread on the forums that was going on about it. I know that the front page, the gigantic scrolling image, has a lot of people up in arms, and I'm kind of in that group too.
I like it. I
it
like
too.
everything pretty much except some of the new little icons, a little nitpicky. But I don't know. I just need some adjusting to get used to them.
You're referring
Actually-
to the forum icons there?
Yes, the forum icons.
Okay. Well, I'm not responsible for those. Those were Vancha.
So you could pretty much
Way to
dump
pass the
blame
buck
on
here.
someone
Yeah,
else.
thank you. I want to make sure that I pass the buck. No, I'm just kidding. If you go into the, if you actually go into the lounge, there's a thread called New Forum Icons that we've kind of been working out of. I asked for help for the community on that one. So if you've got any feedback on the forum icons, for sure, go to that thread and post in it.
I don't
No,
know.
one thing
I
I've
think it
noticed,
just takes getting used to.
Yeah, I'll agree with Grey Wolves on the forum icons, but I noticed something that hasn't been updated on the forums, and that was the list of smileys available.
Is it not working?
Yes.
No, it's working. It's just it hasn't been updated. It's the exact same list.
I'm guessing maybe he wants a Basti smiley face or something.
Yeah. I mean, everybody can benefit from that.
Yeah, what's up
For
with
every
you guys? You
Basti
gotta
friend, he
redo
has his own
everything.
tag.
Go redo the whole thing, but you're just gonna leave the smileys alone. Finish the
That's
job.
true. The smileys have been there for, almost 10 years now, the majority of them. Yeah, the list has not changed. In fact, when we were going through and when we were releasing the website, Griffin and I were going through and updating things and, making sure that it was all working. And as we were going through and starting to update the smileys, we realized that when we were updating them, it was attempting to go through and update them in every single post that they've ever been referenced in. Needless to say, that was causing the website to essentially crash.
Sizzle and burn.
I was just informed that the video seems to be lagging quite a bit.
Is it really? Huh.
Yes. Yeah, it seems to be.
That's interesting.
Both Twitch followers and in IRC are
Okay.
confirming that. So.
Lagging as in it's behind or it's
It's
just
The audio is
totally
way behind. It's actually
unviewable.
way too far ahead.
far ahead.
Yeah, the
Sync
video and
issues.
the audio is not synchronous.
Okay.
That's super
They're not synced.
bloody update you just did today.
Reboot it, Hammer.
There's
Just
not a whole lot I can do
Never
except for
change a running system.
disconnect it and reconnect it. I'm not seeing any issue on our side here, which is kind of strange. Usually, I'll see if there's some type of sync issue here because it'll tell me that the queue is too long. Not really sure what the solution is to fixing that.
We can sit for a minute and see if the keyframe will take it back into sync, and if
Yeah.
not, if it gets to be too bad, somebody let us know and we'll drop and reconnect. I guess is the only thing.
all
we
I
can do.
saw is Basti saying, "Jenny, look at the chat." Okay, I'm
Yeah.
listening. I'm always watching, guys.
Yeah, the downside is that
Please don't
I
go
can't really watch the live video, so I have to rely on what you guys say. So I take it that the sound and video are
I don't
off.
know because I don't have my headphones hooked
Right.
up to my computer.
Well, anyway, we'll continue, and if we have to, we'll disconnect and reconnect. The other thing too is on the front page image rotator. That is definitely something we're going to tweak We're going to make it smaller and kind of make it a little more feature filled. It was literally one of the last things that we did before we launched the site, so it was kind of thrown in there, and we went with the original implementation that we had in the original design, and we just threw it in there so that we could get the site going. So we'll definitely update it. It'll be smaller, it'll take up a little less screen real estate, and it'll have some kind of headlines to the right of it, is what the plan is. So
But I want to definitely give props to you and Griffin for putting in a lot of hours. I saw these guys, burning the midnight oil on IRC and communicating back and forth, and these guys worked real hard to get this site up, and it does look great.
Yeah, it was a little bit of work. It took some time. It took some serious time to get working. And not only that, kind of behind the scenes, we actually moved between 2 servers. So that kind of was a big piece of making sure that everything would work.
Right.
You didn't really know until you actually pulled the trigger.
Right. New hardware behind the new look too. So
countless hours of time spent at the computer and very much cutting into his Jenny Boo time.
Yes.
No dates, no dinner dates, nothing.
Yeah, we spent we had been working on it for several months. But the last probably month or so, it was pretty much all out. I spent pretty much every day at my computer working on PSU. So glad to have it out there. Still a lot to do, but I've been able to take a couple hours away from the computer every day, so I don't have to sit there and work on releasing new items. So
FYI, refreshing did help a lot of people.
Oh, okay.
Good.
So you heard it here first. Go ahead and refresh your browser window, or refresh depending where you're watching it. If you're watching it on Twitch, refresh there. I don't know if the we'll also have pside.co/AGN TV Live that you can go to, and that's a embedded player within the PSU website. So there's probably no difference in the lag between one or the other, but anyway.
Yeah.
All right. One other thing I just want to touch on real quick. We have the AGN bot enabled in the AGN IRC channel. You can do ! question or ! shout out or whatever you want to do if you want to get your kind of 2 cents in or give any feedback on any of the things.
I'll
that
try
we're
to get to
about.
as many as possible.
Yeah,
without derailing the show.
Yeah, and these guys will be watching. I know that these guys are kind of watching IRC as well. So we don't keep as close of an eye on the Twitch chat. We do. Jenny is actually watching it this time. We typically don't watch that very closely because the majority of what we're doing is through IRC. But we do, or we are.
I got to do something.
We are, we are watching it a little bit closer this time. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to our first topic, which is PAX. We've seen a couple of interviews now, and I know for a fact we'll be seeing some more. What are you guys' thoughts so far about what we've seen up until this point? Anything new that kind of made you raise your eyebrow or anything along those lines?
Something that came out of the interview that was just posted up like half an hour ago for the community interview was the methodology they're going to use for the capturing system, which was based on tickets now on multiple capture points. Like Higby said, like if you're attacking a base, there's going to be multiple capture points outside the base and like 3 inside the base, and it's working on a ticket system similar to a battlefield. And a question came up. I think it was later on in the same Q&A was like, how this is going to affect the last, and how is this going to affect like backline operations? Because if you have surrounding defenses, it's really easy to retake stuff, and there's a large disincentive now to try to go in the back lines because it feels like you can't do anything and you're doomed to fail if you don't have 100% success. Well, in the original PS, if you went in the back lines, as long as you held for 15 minutes, you'd get the base regardless. And so those last-minute saves where, or just knife edges, are normally things that create really good memories.
Cricket,
yes. Anybody else?
Pretty interested to see how the new territory capture system works.
Yeah, there was we didn't get everything that we wanted to on the Q&A, but there's some things that we're just not going to get answers to. So
You're going to leave a little mystery.
we yanked those off to save everybody's time. I don't want to waste anybody's time and asking about things like beta and stuff like that.
Right. Things that obviously can't be answered, or things that are works in progress that they really don't have definitive answers for, because you're not going to really get an answer even if you do ask the question.
Right. So. Right. So we kind of saved time on that. I reworded a lot of things that were submitted as well, but Anything else from that interview that you guys tipped off on?
It was interesting, the armor customization. Like they said that you can pretty much edit the color schemes however you want, and it's not going to be defined by your battle rank or level.
But that's something we've known for a while now. T-Ray said multiple occasions in the past that customization is pretty much key, and that the armors were no longer tied to levels. And we've also seen the camo colors now, and it's pretty hard to do those. I'm just wondering why we haven't seen any more pictures of the TR Rexo with spikes sticking out everywhere.
That'd be pretty badass.
Although the community's done a pretty good job at editing some of those screens there, I've noticed some good creative Photoshop work out there.
Yeah, my favorite one was the Vanu with the hamburger. And
yes,
the,
I particularly like that myself.
I like that one. I mean, what was the thing that I read through it fairly quickly because I was the one posting it. So surprisingly, the guy who's MG edited it. MG wrote it up. I edited it, and then posted it. And so I didn't have a whole lot of time to to read through the whole thing. Yeah,
we're just as much in the same boat as you guys. So if you could read this through in the last minute, join the club. Where we all just read through it in the last minute. So
I'm reading it right now.
Yeah, I thought the one thing that was kind of cool was we did ask about that that screenshot or that concept art that had the ship or whatever it was
on the ship there. Yes,
in it, and he mentioned that that's something that is not in the game, but kind of speculated and talked a little bit about.
It was concept art that may or may not be someday in the future.
Some sort of an outfit base, or some potential plan is that.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yes, that would definitely be kind of cool to use that as a increased orbital strike or a heart drop platform to go anywhere in the continent.
Put a Dragonwolf hat on the bottom of it.
Well, yes.
Oh snap!
Could be a potential
clan plug. Sorry.
Yeah. I can already see TR outfit battleships, airships, whatever you call them, falling out of the sky, burning.
Well, that is one thing that he mentioned.
Gives it a warm feeling, doesn't it?
He said they would be destroyed if they ever did it, and that would be wow. I could just
attackable. That's
the explosion would be amazing.
I could just imagine if putting all the work into that.
It'd be a bad idea to actually pull one of the things unless you're doing it in mass. Because, like, when BFRs first came out and they were very limited access, like, when they were still doing the beta testing as part of the promotional, they had, like, a dev on running around in a single BFR. I actually remember we got one of those in our squad once. It was freaking awesome. But, like, a large portion of the resources of an Empire would go to just, hey, there's a BF over here, everyone attack it. So I imagine if a outfit ship shows up, a mothership like he was talking about shows up, the word will get out very quickly, and you're going to have a lot of AA-designated fighters coming after you.
Well, let them come, because then you have your entire groundwork just moving ahead, taking territory by territory.
Now, I'd like to point something out about that. If it's going to be on the ground, primarily in the air, why not focus it on the sea? I mean, we've been wanting something like a naval unit for a very long time now.
A literally outfit battleship?
I don't see why not. You load the various members into the cannons and fire them out. That's how you deploy.
That or having an aircraft carrier, style outfit ship.
Airship makes the most sense though, because you don't want to be limited to water only. Think about like Osher. If you had a outfit battleship there, you wouldn't be able to do anything. The entire island is ringed by gigantic mesa.
I was like thinking as well as reading what Higby was talking about with outfit motherships, as he called them, is that like maybe you could just have them only able to be deployed in certain areas, and maybe like cost a lot of resources to really move them. And like I was thinking, like you just put them at like the edges of the continent or something, and like even like have like a ladder, not ladder, but like some kind of bog ramp or something, just to let people like run up there and stuff. And like
offloading.
I don't think it has enough
ground
incentive.
vehicles?
Like I don't think it has enough incentive for people to mass attack it, unless it gives like a huge benefit. But it does have enough benefit for people to like think they'd have an easier time if it was down. So I think it'd be a really cool addition in the future. You just gotta like regulate it correctly.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought for sure.
Yes.
It kind of gives a vision into maybe kind of like what they're looking towards and the type of features that they're thinking about for the future. I think that if it picks up and it really it really picks up off the ground like all of us hope it do, and I'm sure Sony as well hopes it does.
Right. Yeah, they'll need some place to build on to expand the game. That's one of the things about free to play is you want to continue to have that.
Whet everybody's appetite.
Right.
Keep them wanting to come back for more.
Right, and there's a lot of opportunity there for a lot of different like crazy things. I mean, those of you who have played or are familiar with EVE Online, I mean, the amount of crap that you can do in that game, it just makes your head explode.
At least, yes.
And so
we're at EVE Online player right here.
Okay, yeah. So
you know the scale and scope of different things that EVE can encompass.
And so
it took me 3 days to get across the entire galaxy.
Yeah, and I mean, we all know that they've talked quite a bit about how they want this to be kind of a sandbox type of game, and that EVE is like the ultimate sandbox type of game, that probably exists right now. So just thinking about things that they could do in PlanetSide to kind of capitalize on that sandbox type of thing, like outfit motherships being one of them, outfit bases, things like that, or being able to well, obviously it starts going into being able to create things and stuff like that. I mean, who knows what different things that they could do with a sandbox in a game like PlanetSide.
They've always said that it's going to be a shooter first and everything else after that.
Yep, and that's important. They need to make sure that they always, keep that focus for sure. But there are a lot of things that they could do. I think a lot of the things that they probably could do probably are going to piss off the community. But I think we're going to end up seeing those types of things probably in the future. I don't know what they'll be, but I can imagine that there will be some things out there that are going to make some people angry. Who knows? I mean, maybe we'll see created or crafted weapons of some sort in the future. I mean, you just never know when it comes to the game like this, especially.
I always cringe when I think about that. But.
Yeah. Well, one thing I do see is that they do seem to be keeping the focus on the core gameplay being developed first. They're not spending a lot of extra time on, they certainly entertain some of these extra ideas, but they're really making sure that the base play, the thing that made PlanetSide is there first. And I appreciate that myself.
Please, Higby, not a hat for every occasion. I don't know how many times I've been just in TF2, wanting to play, and someone wants to trade with me. That's not what I'm there for.
You're obviously playing on the wrong servers.
Oh. No, I don't care. If you want the hat, I'll give it to you. You don't have to give me anything. Just leave me alone. Seriously.
Ooh, that's dangerous.
You should see how it is on certain servers. I'm wearing a hat. I say, I put out, hey, free hat, and you should see the amount of chat saying, give me it. Oh, God, it hurts.
Well, your problem was saying that in the first place. You really only have yourself to blame.
I know.
Example of TF2 only tells us one thing. PlanetSide 2 won't lack any money at any point in the game.
Nope.
You'll make shit tons of helmets.
That's actually one thing I saw come out of PAX East, was that interview that Matt Higby gave, that he actually went into further detail on the possible subscription system that we're going to use.
Yeah, oh, you're talking about the where you pay into a premium and then you get resources from your empire even if you're offline.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was more talk about that as well. As like they don't know if they're going to have multiple pay levels, like you have a multiple subscription bases where you get additional bonuses for having a higher amount stacked on. So I know from other games you can do that, and there are various bonuses put to it. I think DC Online has something like that.
DC Online, Star Wars Online, they've done it for Spiral Knights and several other free-to-play games.
I also liked in the community Q&A the medic abilities that Matt Higby talked about. That was some pretty interesting stuff. Kind of reminded me of in Halo, I guess, when the guy deploys that shield.
Yeah, one of the abilities he talked about was like an AoE that would like shield people inside from incoming projectiles, and it would also heal people that were inside the shield.
That sounds extremely handy.
Certainly expands the role of the medic anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
They did confirm it was a medic gun as well, I think. in that?
They have medic gun, they have healing grenades, they are talking about a res grenade. Higby likes the idea, but
A
it's not
mass
in-game
res
yet.
grenade?
Yeah, a mass res grenade. Well, think about it. You can only carry one grenade at a time, so I imagine it'd also be more expensive, and you're probably not coming back in full health.
Right, yeah. If it's a significant amount of resources, then you're not going to sit there and
I just see
pull on a bunch
I
of
could
them.
just see people, a bunch of platoons rolling all medic, almost all medic.
Right.
Yeah,
I
like
can
stuff-
imagine
I'm
that.
worried about.
Stuff like the AoE heal shield and like mass res, things like that, need to be like really balanced very well, because like
Non-stackable.
just after I thought about that shield AoE thing, like I just started imagining people like running through corridors and like just having a medic quickly run up, drop the shield, and then another medic like kind of bunny hops over it and drops another shield so they can like quickly advance towards the enemy.
With the extra ability of the engineers and the medics coming around, I mean, we've talked about units that might be specialized in air or specialized in ground assault, or specialized in armor. Do you think we'd actually start seeing outfits that are specialized in support? You know, an outfit of medics or an outfit of engineers?
I could see it. Especially
I
if
could
they
definitely
don't
see it.
balance it well. Because
Yeah, I can see that
there are
happening.
people that are going to take advantage. We all know this. We're all gamers.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Well, like naturally, like it's in human instinct to pretty much exploit your environment to come on top of your enemies or whatever you're trying to kill.
survival of the fittest.
Yeah. It's just an interesting thought to me, because I mean that's something that you would probably never ever see in PlanetSide 1. Would be an outfit that specialized in medics. Maybe there was, but I just never really thought of it, or I considered the idea.
You're right
but
over there.
I was voicing.
I know
was
there's a
voicing
VS
Perfect
outfit or
Storm,
two
sorry.
that had a heavy emphasis on AV meds. So it's not outside the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
There definitely will be no shortage of medics, though.
Oh, that's for sure.
Yeah. Which is good.
Yeah, I could definitely see in PlanetSide 2 having an outfit specialized in support roles, kind of like that, with engineers setting up like plasma walls or whatever they do, and along with the other stuff that's going on. I mean, there's just a lot more for support. It seems. I think they're actually going to give support like some really fun stuff to do.
Which is great, because I mean, support is an important role, and it's nice to see that it's recognized and given a little credit, because it's kind of a thankless job in a lot of games.
Yeah, yes, it
Coming
is.
from Marsman, who's always been the support role in
Pretty much, yeah.
CDL, so you want some support love.
Yeah, it has been one of those roles that people take in games that just seems to always it does seem to always be forgotten. For sure, it'd be nice if they do spend a lot more time on it than we usually see.
It's always forgotten until you need an ant.
Right. Until you need it, yeah. Or that medic that when you're down.
Right.
I just always loved in PlanetSide seeing everybody fall back and everybody's healing and repairing each other, and I thought that was like one of the coolest things about PlanetSide is that everybody was working together, make sure everybody was like combat ready and ready to get back in the fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Running up levels in the tower where you got people repairing armor and healing people up. And
Yeah, if there's one thing that's PlanetSide, it's that cooperation, that teamwork. Help each other out, firm each other up, and
getting killed while you're healing yourself. Oh,
Right.
wait. That's not the good part of it. But and then, why isn't my gun coming out faster? I'm dead.
Yeah. But if there's anything that really promotes team play, it's that type of mentality, that attitude, and that the way of playing the game.
I was going to mention one of the things that actually came up was, which I can't remember which interview it was in, but Higby mentioned to keep an eye on E3, that it would be a pretty big time for PlanetSide 2. So,
And E3 comes up when, Himmer?
beginning of June. I can't remember the exact dates.
Okay.
June.
I thought it was first week in June.
Yeah, it's the first week. It's
Right.
like June 1st through 5th or something like that. I don't remember the exact dates, but
So a couple months.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I foresee a special AGN that day, that weekend or whatever.
Absolutely.
But speculation, I'm sure, will run rampant about what exactly he meant by E3 would be a big time for PlanetSide 2. So
It's beta.
No, it's beta.
Maybe
I
it's,
suspect
We're all thinking.
I suspect by E3 we are already deep in beta, and they just showed the first trailer with 2,000 players on the screen.
Yeah.
Or release the female avatars.
That is true.
Perfect Storm said June 5th
I
or
think they're
7th.
just gonna have a new trailer.
Okay, 5 through 7. Okay.
Yeah, June 5 through 7. So we'll definitely be live on the air to do a show that weekend. And I think I'm going to have to upgrade my internet connection for a faster upload speed. I'm seeing the occasional slowdowns when we're doing these broadcasts. So that's what the side effect of my upload speed is you guys getting lag outs when you're watching the video. So sorry about that. It will catch up eventually. I apologize.
So Perfect Storm just put in chat. She said, "You guys will die in real life from E3."
Ooh.
No, the correct phrasing was E3 will make you die.
Right, exactly.
Die.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Why
you for
did
the
Perfect Storm
tease.
say that?
Yeah, girls are always such a tease. It's terrible.
So there you go. Even more reason to fire up the speculation machine on the forums. It should
Like
be
they aren't
interesting.
busy enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like forums have been insane. Let's go ahead and get some more speculation going for sure. Oh, that's what we're for, man. I
That's
mean,
right.
that's what the community is there to speculate, and
It's a rumor mill in a can right
yeah,
there.
it is.
She's just
If-
she's so entertained. Look at her in IRC. She's
If
just
Yeah, I'm
Higby doesn't
watching
get
it.
like
Look at that.
20 to 20,000 beta tweets a day, we're not doing our job.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's just crazy how much it. And Higby's mentioned actually in a couple different interviews this weekend about reading PSU and getting ideas from the community.
Yes.
So
Thank you, Matt. We
Yeah.
appreciate the plug
I mean-
in both of those interviews that you mentioned PSU.
yeah,
if you guys are
So
chomping
good.
at the bit, Perfect Storm is on Twitter. You can
Yep.
yeah. Now it's time to be sure when you tweet Higby asking about beta that you go ahead and add her in there as well.
And make sure you also vote for her on that Maxim Gamer competition they're having.
Yes. Yep.
Did I miss something? I must have missed something.
Yes, Maxim is holding a gamer girl competition, and
Yeah.
yes, Perfect Storm was in there. I signed up this morning, in fact, and voted for her. So
I have not, but I will, of course, support
I
my
will,
fellow gamer girl.
I will look at that as soon as the show is over and go in there and take care of that. I totally missed that.
since she's
Twitter fail.
since she's our representative gamer from the Sony side of things, yeah, jump in there and give her your vote.
Definitely awesome, and she's also doing the what's it called, the Extra Life thing again. She's actually going to be doing it during Fanfare, where she plays or she games for 24 hours and it goes towards charity. So
Yeah, good cause.
we've tweeted that a couple times. So be sure to throw some cash her way if you can.
She said you can vote once a day on
Oh.
that Maxim thing. So
Awesome.
everybody do your part every day
All
on the
right.
dot.
Once a day until you reset your router.
Just put a memo on your phone
Right.
so it pings off every morning and go do it.
Excellent.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next topic, unless somebody else has something else they want to bring up regards to PAX.
No
I
mention
like
of
to bring up
caves.
something.
Still sad.
No mention of caves now.
No.
No.
I don't think we'll be hearing any mention of caves in the near future. All right. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next topic, which is the driver tank gunner conversation. You guys are pretty familiar with this, I'm sure, but
There's been just a couple of threads on that. Yeah.
there's been just a few things about it. But there's been a lot of talk about how the driver will also be the tank gunner. There's also been a little bit of talk from Matt over Twitter where he's mentioned that it's something that they've been considering allowing people to spec into allowing an additional gunner for the tank, so that you don't have to control both things.
I hope so.
Yeah. I'm sure that's something that's going to be along the training path. But it's been a pretty hot topic, and so we kind of wanted to talk about it again. A few folks suggested talking about it, so that's kind of why it's on the list. But I mean, for me, I think it's kind of important that it's a separate role and not the same. It's not game breaking or anything for me.
I think it would be the best of both worlds to be able to do that, because all the advantages you have from being able to gun and drive, you would have, and if you really wanted to have that separate ability and concentrate on your driving and have a gunner, you have that option as well. So I think that would that would satisfy a lot of people, because there are people that are passionate both ways with it.
For sure, and always goes back to the the casualizing of PlanetSide when we talk about things like this, and I know that's something that worries a lot of folks. He mentioned a little bit today in our interview with Matt. He talked about that a little bit. But so, what are your guys' thoughts on that whole thing? I mean, what do you think about the issue overall?
Well,
go ahead.
Well, I see VS winning every single tank battle. Because two things, really. First of all, the VS tank always had the main gun, the PPA, not the main gun. It was a kind of pointless gun that didn't do much damage at all, but we are used to doing the gunning and strafing and driving at the same time. And also, our gun is just fixed forward, so in whatever direction we drive, we always also gun in that direction. So spinning around and driving forward while looking behind us. That for the other empires, NC and TR, they don't have that advantage, which results in them driving into trees and stuff because they just look behind.
Hey.
If you play Battlefield or any other game, you see that already. People just fucking up all the time.
I think the ability of Mag Rider to move to the left and to the right made it just above and beyond the other tanks.
And the whole floating on water thing helped too.
Right.
Right.
I gave it an unprecedented advantage. I mean, on the new conglomerate, we had tougher vehicles. It's just the problem is we could not maneuver fast enough, to counter the VS tanks.
Or maybe you were just bad.
Hey, fight me.
I mean, do you guys think that? What do you think about the situation? I mean, do you think that we really need separate roles, or do you think it can be intermixed? Do you like the idea that Higbee mentioned, where you could, maybe train into allowing somebody else to gun for your tank?
I would be down for that. Definitely allow the veterans who are used to PS1 system have an avenue to go back to that, dedicated driver, dedicated gunner system.
Yeah, like I see what they're doing with it. I kind of think it makes it easier for other people to go into the game because everyone's used to every other game. The driver operates the main gun and someone operates the little machine gun on top of it or something. But it's just so it's not as efficient as it was in PlanetSide. In original PlanetSide, if you have a dedicated driver, the driver's going to drive efficiently, not run into stuff, and actually know where he's going and be able to find cover easier and have better situational awareness. Whereas if you have a driver who's also gunning, he can't really see where he's going. He can't look at surroundings as well. Like you really need a gunner to focus on gunning and a driver to focus on driving, so that you have this really good machine that's operating efficiently. And I think that'll trump any other system in the long run. But I definitely want tankers and drivers to be able to certify themselves to be dedicated into their role, because a lot of people really like to just drive, not even shoot. Lots of people just like driving. You had plenty of AMS drivers, plenty of ANT drivers, plenty of drivers in general. It is usually gunners that people had to look for.
I like to add on that it's also based on how well the communication is between both the driver and the gunner. I mean, if you have an outfit system going on and most of your drivers and gunners are on TS, the communication has to be really well placed for each gunner and driver teams.
The communication won't be an issue now because we have in-game voice that automatically teams you up with the gunner in your vehicle.
Yes, that's something that I always wanted to see in PlanetSide.
I mean, we have that, and if they do the system for voice as robust as they say they want to, then you can have just pack entire platoons of drivers and gunners together to communicate with each other. What you usually did with TeamSpeak with big tank outfits.
And that's one thing that I always saw too. That with the driver gunner communication, if you're doing that over your outfit's TeamSpeak, you're tying up that entire TeamSpeak channel. Nobody else is going to be able to talk. So having a separate in-game system that automatically pairs gunners and drivers and localizes that, I think, is the ideal solution. I even wanted to see that back in PlanetSide 1 to some ways, because it just removes that communication from your outfit chat, so you're not sitting there just tying them up continuously.
It's nothing worse than trying to logistically get the ground troops, and then you got the tank guys screaming.
Yeah, back up. No, a little bit to the right. Oh,
can I have mine?
Yeah, I can't say. Come up over the hill a little. Just
yeah. I can imagine that. I mean, it's the amount of communication my outfit goes through on event nights is just monumentous.
That's when you need.
Oh, go ahead.
That's when you would need, like, mic discipline, that kind of thing. Somebody in charge that sets the ground rules.
We've been practicing for the last 3 years. We've been practicing what's called TeamSpeak, discipline, which we actually keep our voices down during the events. But sometimes some idiot will scream over the mic, something random.
Your ears will start bleeding.
Not bleeding, just annoy the outfit leader enough to boot them from the server.
Take away their voice. That's what I do.
Well, you guys don't have discipline.
I think an awesome feature to have would be have kind of like a vehicle crew hotkey. Like, instead of your default voice key, have a different button for just the guys like in your immediate area or someone like within the same vehicle.
I agree.
Might help out with my crew with our reavers.
Yeah, I mean, TeamSpeak or voice organization has been an issue, well, since forever.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Yep, 20 people in the same channel, you have to set some rules down.
Yeah, and I mean...
you should see 40 people on at once.
Yeah, I've been in some pretty crazy TeamSpeak channels that have had, 50-plus people in them, and it's a disaster. And I mean, even with only 16 people, when we used to play tribes competitively, we used to have issues with people talking over each other, or, something's going on in one place and somebody's screaming about it, and then everybody's like, I'm trying to get there, and everybody's screaming, talking over each other. So it's like...
Right, you had an offense and a defense team that were all trying to coordinate and fight over the same airspace. So,
yeah.
And that's when you know you've made a good game.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
40 plus? EVE Online,
40 plus.
3,000, and everyone could talk.
Basti, do not bring that kind of topic in here.
It actually worked once.
3,000 people in a TeamSpeak channel?
Yes, and everyone could talk.
I'm surprised that the TeamSpeak server can even handle that.
I no idea how they did that. It just somehow worked.
I think the internet blew up at the end of that.
It sounds like if they all talked at once, your speakers would blow up.
I believe that's called white noise.
It probably would have, but I mean, no, we just had a clear talk before we just unmuted everyone, and everyone just stayed quiet unless there were actual important information that need to be shared.
Yeah, for some reason, a lot of groups, even like quote-unquote professional gaming organizations, and will
fail.
I mean, I'm saying this because the example I'm thinking of is Halo. That I watched them play, and they had like this thing where you could hear the players communicate, and even them, like a lot of their communication was like some guys yelling like "Stay alive, stay alive," and just saying lots of useless stuff. But like one time I was actually impressed because they're like, "Hey guys, shut up," and everyone actually like stopped talking for like 5 minutes. But yeah, lots of organizations have trouble with their communication voice servers, and my outfit, Dark Skies, had a pretty good thing going for a while. But even then, you still have sometimes where you have to be like, "Hey everyone, calm silence and stuff like that, get everyone to be quiet so that someone could like actually say something important." Because there's lots of people that they just get like this tunnel vision. They think that everything they're doing is like important, and it's like, "Oh, I'm reloading." It's like it doesn't matter.
Nobody
Why
cares.
Why are you telling me you're reloading? I can see you reloading.
Right.
Shout out from Crazy Duckling to Basti. Are you drunk? Okay. I don't think he is, but
He said yes, no, mate.
Yeah, you
I think
never
he's
know,
just
Penny,
Basti.
You never know.
Nice.
I am watching it, but there's not a lot of people using it.
Yeah, that's surprising. I usually see more people on,
Especially 3 to 1. He's a shout out whore.
Right. Just to touch back on something that somebody said earlier about, they like seeing the communication and coordination of the team members all, healing each other and working together. That was one of the things that I always thought was really impressive about the vehicle crews, was the fact that you had to coordinate the driver and the gunner. And that was just another example of two players that had to work together in order to achieve a goal. And was kind of upset that they had removed that and allowed somebody to be a one-man army. By firing the main gun and not having that cooperation. So hopefully they'll make this a certifiable option and bring that ability to coordinate back.
Right. I like that. I'd like to say that it's still, in that kind of feeling, being a one-man army in a tank, it's pretty much ruining the feeling. I mean, I've seen a lot of that going on in Battlefield 3, and it kind of annoys the hell out of me.
I think the reason why they did that is because they want to make this game like as massive as they can, and having the gunner or having the driver be the gunner as well, it's kind of a force multiplier. So you don't need 60 guys to have 30 tanks. You're gonna have 60 guys and 60 tanks, and it's just gonna be a massive huge tank battle. And I think that's why they decided to go that way.
And another thing,
right?
Another thing that Hegbig said about that too was the fact that if you're going to sit there and put all kinds of certification time into a particular tank, he wanted the person to have the benefit of being able to shoot that gun if it was a side grade to the weapon or so forth. So because they're the ones that spent the time certifying, so I can understand that.
There's a way around that. You could just give the driver more tools to play with, more certifications to play with for this tank, and give the gunner extra surgery to cert guns for the tank. And whenever the two just team up into one vehicle, the driver can give to the gunner other guns.
I think there should definitely be at least 2 trees for tank drivers. One for solo guy, and then one for I want my gunners to be the best, to have the best guns on the battlefield.
It's an interesting thought.
I think that would be
idea.
a really good trade-off. That's probably like the best idea I've heard so far, just in my 3-second evaluation brain. But yeah, I would totally be all for that.
Kudos.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, I'm just confused why you're limiting it to only those trees. They've talked about if evil pig's a threat on support bases and whatnot. There are multiple equipment loss and the customizations of vehicles. I don't see why you couldn't have trade-offs like replacing the main cannon for more armor or additional speed or something like that. And therefore, you allow to customize the vehicle more, but there's no hard paths.
I think every vehicle should be unique on the battlefield as to what the driver wants it to be. So let's say I pop in Basti's Mag Rider. I know that Basti's Mag Rider has the best AA gunner, equipment.
Right.
So somebody could, okay, I'm gonna ride with Basti because he takes care of his AA gunners.
Yeah, that's a great idea, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm expecting with customization and like the side grade certification stuff, and in the game, when you get on the field and you see people with their camo skins or premium skins or custom paint jobs and their vehicles, and if you have advanced targeting or something and you can see their names, then you'd be like, oh, that guy, I've seen him a lot and he's really good, stuff like that, and he has this stuff, that stuff, pretty much what you said in your example. I really see that happening a lot. It did happen in the last game, without, you see some people show up and you'd be like, oh, they're coming in, we need to really be on our A game to hold them off.
Exactly, kind of like if anybody ever played against TRX, I know when I saw a bunch of Mozzies in the sky and then I saw TRX, I know I'd run the other direction because I didn't want to get Mozzie farmed.
I've actually faced the on TRX before. They disbanded, and boy, they were just they scared me quite badly.
TRX are a pain to deal with in the bloody caves. They lag warped and had a whole bunch of other issues that made them just a pain to fight one-on-one.
Yeah, and then we started developing ways how to counter their Mossy attacks, and it's worked effectively until they disbanded, and now we're seeing rogue elements of them roaming around, causing trouble.
They're primarily down in the caves these days, or at least that's where they seem to always end up being. I've tried to trap them there once or twice, and unfortunately it turns out that even if you plant it right, an Aegis shield generator, even if you have it charged up, will not trap a Reaver against the ceiling. There's enough room to get through.
Nice.
Oh, let's see. Someone posted a question about hackers being discussed.
Let's save that for the end. We will be able to get to that today.
Good idea.
I was going to actually move on to the next topic. Anybody else have any final thoughts on Driver Tank Gunner?
Mag Rider's the best. Moving on.
Nice.
Good discussion with that, guys.
Yeah, that was a good discussion. Good stuff. All right, we're going to move on to another huge thing on the forums recently, and that is win conditions. We've talked a lot about it. There's been a lot of speculation. There's been a lot of anger. There's been fear, rage. Sorry, but there's been a lot of conversation about win conditions. How do I win PlanetSide? Should I be able to win it? Should it be something that you should be able to do? And there's some real mixed feelings on it. Obviously, there was no way to win PlanetSide 1, and arguably there probably shouldn't have been, because it just doesn't seem like it should be won in a persistent online shooter like PlanetSide is. To me, anyway, it doesn't seem like that type of condition should exist.
I mean, way back in the early days when somebody got locked into their own sanctuary, couldn't leave. I guess that might have been considered a win condition, but that didn't last very long.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't have an issue with not really win conditions per se, but maybe a weekly winner that's announced, and maybe they get a bonus, for the next week or the next few days. They're announced, either on the website or via whatever stat website we're going to be seeing, stuff like that. I don't know, what calculates how they win, but that might be something that's kind of puts a win condition in, gives a bonus to the Empire that's the best for that week, but is not really technically a win condition when you think about it. So what are your guys' thoughts on win conditions?
I think the solution's really as simple as just like giving an achievement or something when an Empire when you're on an Empire has like 80% of the world controlled or something, or like just having what you said, like a stat recording thing, and like after a week it's like, oh, this Empire's been controlling the most territory for this week, they win. Like I don't think we really need to do anything special, any kind of reset or anything. I think it's there. It's just you gotta get the players to be able to recognize it and feel like they won by like just showing them that they did.
There could be something more short term for resources, like if one Empire controls X amount of territory over X amount of time, then they'll get X amount of resources as a bonus. That could be like a little win scenario that, hey, we held this much territory, so we're going to get that bonus real soon. Oh, we just lost, the required 1%. So now we got to try again.
I know there was a thread in the forums about custom missions where you'd want to drive deep into enemy territory, and the goal was to reach this certain hex by a certain time, like say 24 hours. You could definitely incorporate that as like a weekly or monthly win condition, where whoever held this piece of territory when this time flipped got a massive boost of a certain resource.
I saw that post too. I thought, oh man, that's going to be quite a challenge. I mean, you could it's going to be similar to the Rabbit Ball events that have happened.
Rabbit Ball, not so much. Rabbit Ball was all about whoever brought the most lodestars and MBTs.
Yes, that's true. Nowadays, it's going to be about who can bring in the most, small vehicles, just right in there.
Yeah, I mean, the thing for me with win conditions is this is an MMO, like a persistent shooter. Like, winning doesn't seem like an option to me. I know some people
winning means end, and there is no end.
To me, winning means an end, and that means everything resets and you start over, and everything you've worked towards is now gone. Now, on the flip side, in PlanetSide 1, all you did was fight over the same base over and over and over and over and over and over again. So there really was nothing else that you could get or earn except for fighting over the same base over and over and over again, and then it was gone the next day. But on the flip side, with PlanetSide 2, there's the resource system, there's a territory system. All these things are going to be things that we are going to want to maintain control over. And so if they decide, oh, at the end of the month, we're going to go ahead and reset everything that everybody's worked for and all the resources that they've been gathering, to me, that's just stupid. You know, we need a way, I don't have a problem, like I said, with some type of condition that's, you know, not actually resetting anything. You know, I think it goes back to, well, I'm not even going to go down the road of what I think it is about, because that's kind of a political discussion. So
Yeah.
Is it maybe more of a bragging rights thing?
I see it as what you win the battle, you don't win the war.
Right.
You know, you win the situation that you're in, and yes, having some sort of a tangible reward or a benefit for that, if you keep it for an extended period of time or something along that line, would be good. And like Hema said, the resource system is a perfect way to reward that. Gives you some incentive other than just being the empire of the week that took the most territory, which is really about the only bragging right that you had with PlanetSide 1. Is you know, on the Sony site there was the empire who, you know, held the most territory that day or that week or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there is room for some type of win condition. I just don't think it should be a win condition that resets anything at all. Because
that ruins the persistence right there.
Yeah, because
yes.
I do like, I know Higby has said that there won't be, you know, continent benefits, but, you know, maybe something similar to that could be used as, like, you know, NC or VS or whoever held, you know, X amount of territory for this long. Okay, they get this, you know, added benefit.
I could see that working. I mean, you know, any empire would, you know, fight over that for, you know, just to get a reward, even if it's a random benefit.
Right, because that's at least an objective, overall objective, not just, you know, destroy a generator, destroy, you know, take a node or whatever, but it's something like overall hanging over the heads of everyone in that empire that they're striving for. Like, man, I love that, you know, vehicle speed burst or whatever it could be, and then, you know, let's all try to get that.
Or getting a more powerful ammunition.
In every MMO, you need something to work towards, a goal. You have your personal goals in usual MMOs, like I want this next piece of gear and whatever. But you also have more global goals that affect your entire team or your entire faction in terms of PlanetSide. In PlanetSide, that was locking a continent and nothing else. You had the big goal of taking global domination, but that is exactly like those empire footholds right now, just temporarily, because you can't really wipe out the enemy. But it was something to work for, and something you could achieve sometimes with a lot of work and a lot of effort putting into it, and
over
a lot
several
of
hours.
Yeah, but other than the fact of doing it, you really didn't gain anything other than to say, "Hey, we did it."
Right.
There's a question from Evil Pig. Would you be willing to try it a win condition with a reset? It is fun to be able to say we won that last campaign.
Not for me, because if I want to do that, I'm going to go ahead and play a battlefield map.
I agree.
Exactly, same thing. The one thing one of the major things that appeal to me in the PlanetSide games, and soon to be called the PlanetSide franchise, is that I always feel like I'm in this, like, everlasting conquest, and for me that's all I need. I just need to be, like, taking away territory, taking away bases from other empires. It doesn't even matter if it all gets taken back and we're pushed back even further the next day. I log in and I'm like, all right, it's time to go in conquest mode. It's time for us to take all this back and then some. We're gonna, like, try and push them back as far as we can. I just love that everlasting conquest.
I agree with Grey Wolves here. I mean, I do not want to lose any of the progress from a single reset. It would just, I can imagine that most of our viewers here would be really angry, about that, occurring, when they're just so close, to achievement.
The reason that I'm passionate about it and I get upset about it is because it's one of those things to me that makes PlanetSide what it is. And taking it out is just, to me, turning it into even more of a round-for-round based shooter that I've played plenty of over the past, since I've started playing games. And I just don't want to go down that road with PlanetSide. I don't think it fits. I think there's plenty of other ways for us to be able to have win type conditions without actually resetting the map.
Well,
I think resetting the map is just, you know, like I said, you may as well just go play a round-based shooter and then just call it a day.
Well, it's a predictable point where you know everything's going to change, and that was one of the big appeals, like you said about PlanetSide. You never knew from day to day. You'd have to log in to see where the state of the world was, and if you have a reset, you know what the state of the world's going to be. It's going to be reset.
Well,
so.
Which is going to be annoying. I mean,
yes,
and it means you're going to be going back to the same spot you were like the next day after being besieged by TR or VS or the NC.
Right.
Yeah, some people argue that like you kind of have it anyways because like you have this back and forth and you end up you log out one day, you log back in the next day, and you're still fighting over the same base. But the thing that I really feel is the difference there is that there's context to that, because you might have taken a base, you might have pushed them back, and then they might have pushed you back and then taken over the base again.
But somebody lost that. Somebody lost that territory.
There's actual context.
Right.
There's actual context between like why the battlefield is the way it is. It's not, oh, it reset, we're playing another match again, and like everyone started over here, and they went this way. You're gonna have those more static, like everyone goes here first, everyone goes there first stuff if you have the world reset. But if you just have the world be persistent and constant, then you have this context everywhere, and then like people will change things up, and people will go different places, and the battlefield will evolve itself naturally.
It's never monotonous and just ordinary. It's always changing. And
yeah. And, you know, the argument is always, oh, well, the next day it's going to be gone. Well, you know what? I don't care. So it's gone. Then I come back and take it again. I really don't have a problem with that. And I think that the territory system and the resource system is going to make a totally different style of gameplay than any of us are even.
And that's it, because PlanetSide 1, you know, you play it for fun. I mean, basically things didn't change. You followed over the same basis, and unfortunately, they did get that sense of repetition after a while. Where it's like, okay, we're back doing this again, and there really wasn't a sense of achievement. But as Hammer pointed out, with the territory system and the resources, this is a complete game changer. This is going to change the way that you know, that you get rewarded for taking territory. It isn't just, you know, getting the same bases over and over and over again. There's actually going to be some tangible benefits to doing so, which will be your sense of winning, in my opinion, anyway, at least for me.
In my opinion, PlanetSide 1 was, I mean, I knew that the connected bases are where we're going, but I didn't feel like, you know, I had to stop playing because I was bored. So that's what PlanetSide did for me. It's like when I go into a battlefield match, I know, well, I got to get this many, you know, areas to get this many kills to win the match. We had certain places we always had to go in PlanetSide 1, but we always were never bored. Well, I was never bored, so.
Awesome. You got to think about with the new class system, you know, that 8-hour battle, you can be playing as 1 or 2 classes, and then you're like, you know what, I'm going to change it up and start playing like a max or, you know, heavy assault, and then the battlefield changes all over again.
We have so many more options, so many more possibilities now with this system that I think it's really going to take that redundancy, that monotony, even though the game was incredibly fun. I mean, if you did the same thing for, you know, well, a lot of us played the same way for years before we finally just got burnt out and finally, you know, started playing less.
Yeah.
And I don't see that happening here. I think there's going to be enough change, enough variety, enough different things that you can do.
Enough things added.
Right. The territory system is going to, you know, move you over the whole map. You're going to involve that whole area. And, you know, I just see that I don't think that really is going to necessitate the win condition that everybody kind of wanted from PlanetSide 1.
I agree. I think we need to think of it in the context of where it's going, not necessarily
where it's been.
Where it's been, because we're thinking of it in the context of PlanetSide, where we all know what we did was fight over the same base, and in 10 minutes you could lose another base and it could be back to the other side and it was gone. Or you could lose a whole continent overnight and it could be back to the other side. But the thing is, this time there's a whole lot more going on. The bases require a lot more coordination to take. I mean, Higby talked about how there were multiple capture points and things like that. And so I don't think that we're going to be looking at the same type of back and forth constantly as much as we did in the original PlanetSide, because there's going to be a lot more mechanics, a
lot more places to fight over and for.
Right.
More places to fight over. There's going to be a lot more mechanics for bases, you know, that are going to make it so that it takes a little bit more time and teamwork in order to take them. And I think Arc, like I said in IRC, I mean, you know, A win condition doesn't mean that the map resets. It just simply means that there's some type of somebody won. It doesn't mean they actually won anything. It just means, oh, okay, well,
Hey, they won that hex.
Yeah.
You win the battle. You don't win the war.
They took
Right.
those, 3 towers and the bases they needed, and they got that hex. They won that part.
And another
But they're
thing,
not the grand scheme winner.
right. And another thing that they could even do, with the mission system or things like that is, they could do campaigns. Like they could say, oh, campaign X is starting on this day, and the campaign is to take, this particular base and hold it for X amount of time. And that type of thing would be a win condition when, you've held it for 4 days, or you've held it for the majority of time within the 4 days, and now your empire or outfit or whatever has now won. But they haven't really won. They've kind of just won this particular campaign, and nothing really resets. The campaign ends, and there's no longer a benefit to holding that base, and so things kind of start to shuffle and even out again. So I think there's a lot of things that can be done here that, we don't necessarily need a win condition per
A
se.
shout out from Valcron saying, Hamma, why are you so angry about win conditions? I don't get it. ...
I already responded to that. It's just because, it's just one of those things for me at its core.
I don't think it's win condition. I think it's reset condition for Hamma.
It's a matter of persistence.
Yeah, no, it's a reset thing. It's not. I think
He's all for winning.
I think that there should be a method of like a campaign or something that involves winning in some tangible way, but not necessarily resetting everything. Because I think resetting everything just goes back to every other FPS that all of us play.
Yeah,
it doesn't make it persistent.
Right,
to me.
I'm passionately with
and
Hammer.
that's what the core game of PlanetSide is.
Right,
Persistence.
I agree. That's one of the big selling points. It's a persistent MMO, and I'm passionately against any type of world reset. Also,
revisiting what I said earlier, opening up into the discussion a bit. Like, I don't think that the people that want a win condition, like I think they'll be happy with just something that gives them a sense of accomplishment.
Right.
And maybe a reward for doing stuff.
Yes.
Like we just need like little events, little missions, or just some like stat tracker that's just like, oh, this empire got like most of the territory.
Yeah,
I think
You need a goal to work for. And PlanetSide, that was a continent. If right now I don't see any big goal to work for. Capturing a territory will happen regardless, no matter what happens, because that's like a step by a step. But you need something big to work for. If you just have to capture as much territory as possible, it doesn't feel like a win. It doesn't even feel like you're doing anything good. It's just I go there because I have nothing else to do. Screw it. You need something that shows you fucking won. You did it. Now go elsewhere and repeat.
I agree.
And
I think one
for me that was always logging in. First thing I do ever when logging in is pressing G, looking at the global map and saying, "Hey, we got Oshwa." How the fuck did that happen? That was
that's
winning for me.
My question too.
Nothing else was winning for me. Just that, and having that completely done, I just don't see me enjoying the game as much as I did PlanetSide 2. PlanetSide.
I think another I had alluded to before that small objectives, short-term objectives, like let's say there's 3 of a certain type of facility on the continent. If you hold it for X amount of time, you'll get this specific vehicle for free. It won't cost resources for X amount of time. That's a little goal that people can consider a win condition, but at the same time not just reset everything. Okay, start from scratch.
Yeah, and I think that's huge right there. I think you just kind of said it, and I think the mission system that they're building into the game can involve those types of things. And so
I think there's umpteen thousand ways to invoke a sense of accomplishment or a win situation where you get some sort of reward. I mean, there's thousands of ways that they can do this.
Especially now with the systems that we know about already that are going to be in PlanetSide 2 that weren't in PlanetSide 1. There's so many opportunities already. Just if you were to just sit down and start thinking of things that they could use the mission system, the resource system, the territory system, they could use all those things together, to create a campaign or a mission or some type of world event where everybody's tasked to go fight over this specific thing. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for win conditions. not necessarily reset conditions. And yes, I am totally against reset conditions, but not necessarily win or accomplishment. I think
win
need
conditions
that.
are, yes, I agree. I think win conditions are
Sure.
absolutely desperately needed, because that was the one real problem with PlanetSide, is that, incredible game, lots of fun to play, played it to death even when it was boring. We still played it. It just
Right.
finally would eventually bore you to death because it was just the same routine, and that just didn't change, and there wasn't any incentive for any type of a win condition. So I think this has tremendous possibility to give you all kinds of incentives and keep the action crisp and flowing, and lots of ways to reward you and give you that sense of winning.
Right.
I'm gonna get into what Basti said earlier, so I'm just gonna start off with this though, that like every tower, every little thing that you take in PlanetSide 2 is probably gonna feel like a win to me. In the original PlanetSide, if I took a tower, if I took a base, I was like, yes, we're winning the war effort. But the big thing was capping a continent. But like that just made you feel awesome. That was the only time when you really had like a big downtime, and it was like, all right, where are we gonna hit next? And like you kind of got to chill and relax and stuff. But with footholds and all that in there, like you're not, at least not until they make more continents, we're probably not gonna see continent capping.
It wasn't just to chill after you took a continent, it was also the raid for the next one, where you see 10 to 15 galaxies flying out, loads of tanks, loads of Ravers, AMSs, everything just rolling to the warp gate, going through, landing on Ishanda, and just this massive army just rolling to Kozak.
Absolutely.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you.
Good times.
I want that bad.
Yeah, capping out continents was a small win condition in and of itself, and when you finally took the last base, like finally, all right, look up the ball map. All right, where's everybody talking about? What's our target? What does it look like? Where are the other guys fighting at? What's our best target to hit?
And it does sound like,
and it was that pause.
It also sounds like, too, that they're having a lot more data being tracked with this, with all the whole community website type thing that they're going to do with, the player information and so forth. We actually could start seeing some rewards and recognition of groups or people that were influential and taking this over as part of that type of thing. I could easily see that being a banner page or something on the site. Hey, these outfits were involved in capping this continent if such a condition did exist in PlanetSide 2.
Right.
I think one of the coolest things that we might be sitting at work and all of a sudden we get a push notification on our phone that's like, oh, NC just captured 80% of Indar. So you're like, oh shit, I got to get home.
Yeah.
Take that shit back.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
It's going to be totally different this time. And Evil Pig's he's asked it like 3 times, so I'll go ahead and bring it up. He's asking if anybody in the panel has ever played an MMO FPS that actually had a win condition that took at times months to complete. I know I haven't. I've only ever played one MMO FPS, so...
Right. I do know what he's talking about, though, World War II Online. I know they had campaigns that basically they'd fight out the entire war, and then, whoever won, it would reset, and they'd fight all over again. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of that. I don't think that it fits this game. Whether or not I've actually played that is kind of irrelevant. It's my thought in the fact that, and that stupid argument that it's PlanetSide always comes up, and I hate using it, but unfortunately, that's the only thing that fits in this case. So I kind of have to use it.
That brings it because we're all nostalgic players here.
Right.
And why do you actually have to have a reset? I mean, go 3 months. Declare a winner by who captured the most territory or did the most of this or that. I mean, you can certainly declare winners out of a period of time, but resetting the condition, somebody at some point at that reset is going to lose the time invested that they spent setting up that battle or whatever, because suddenly it's going to reset. Maybe the rest of us, it wouldn't matter. We just walk in and say, oh, we're all back to here. But somebody somewhere is going to have their gameplay interrupted from that reset. So... why do you have to do that?
It just doesn't seem PlanetSide to me.
No.
I know that's not much of an argument, but that's why I love playing PlanetSide.
Like I said, I think you can declare a winner over a period of time without having all the things reset to square one. I mean, if you want to reset the square one, then get in there and fight and push them back.
You want to reset, go play Battlefield.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, there's enough games that...
Or
that
become a game developer and start your own company. And
yeah, there's enough rinse and repeat.
We will be in beta.
There's enough rinse and repeat gameplay out there.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing that Fyrick just said, too, is how about a scoreboard after each facility capture? I don't like that either because I think the stat website totally fills that role that we were just talking about.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's plenty of room for statistics where you can track the stuff over time, and yeah, maybe you can post, the outfit. This outfit has been involved in capturing this facility more often than anybody else, and you can kind of get a gold plaque or something. Yeah. I mean, you do all kinds of crazy things.
Yeah,
with
the
amount of data that they're going to be able to collect, and
then if you're, your clan or your outfit's so proud of it, and I don't know if they're going to do advertisements like they did in the original one. They can pay for the advertisement slot.
Right.
Hey, we were the best, and put it up there for recruitment or something.
And I mean, people always say, "Well, what you work for is going to be gone tomorrow." Well, then don't play PlanetSide.
What you work for is going to be gone if it resets too.
Don't play any video game.
That's a horrible argument. Just don't play. Go do something else.
Everything you did in the last Battlefield match is gone.
Whether it's an FPS or an MMO, I mean, MMO, you work towards a goal and then they make a different goal, and you lose all that work you did.
I think that's how it is in anything in life.
Right.
If you play a sport, you win that game tomorrow. Win or lose, there's still another game tomorrow after that.
Right. If anything, your sense of longevity is only available in PlanetSide because any action that you make could have some long-lasting repercussions. Whereas, if it's just a short map, well, it's over with when it's done. You could say, hey, I was with that group that started this push that, caused us to take that continent 3 days later. So,
if you wanted to do something lasting and meaningful, you wouldn't be on the internet.
Right.
That's a good point.
It lasts forever.
All right. Well, that was a.
If you want multiple hats, play TF2.
Yes, if you want hats, play TF2. That was a fun debate with lots of audience participation. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any final thoughts or comments?
I'm just gonna say it again. Like, there's context, like in the battles that. Like you aren't there. If it goes back to the same, there's battles that were happening between that. Like there's a reason why everything the way it is. And if you just let the game run its course, I guarantee you will see every part of the game that is to play. I've played the first PlanetSide for a long time, and you didn't have the Hex territory system then. You only had to fight over the bases. But I've been all over all of those continents, and it never really reset there. You're going to end up anywhere. You're going to enjoy everything. You're going to have a diversity of play.
Even more diversity with the and not being the lattice system and it being the hex.
Yeah,
right.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And I hope that they don't. I don't think that they intend to put any type of win condition in that I've heard about. And so I guess that's one of those things that we'll flesh out in beta, and we'll see kind of how it feels, how the game plays once we finally get a few hundred people in there or a few thousand and start, fighting over continents to see where it goes. I'm against it now, a reset of any kind, but who knows what the heck this game is going to look like. None of us know, except for a couple of our viewers that actually know, and they can't tell us anyway.
Right.
You're getting a shout out asking for something other than TeamSpeak to look at, so apparently someone's getting tired of seeing the TeamSpeak lights.
Huh.
You want a little PlanetSide video, Valcron? We can do that.
Hey, there's me.
You want to stare at Ham as a mug?
My noggin. I pull up TeamSpeak just simply because I want people to be able to see who's talking while we're talking. So
be
that's
like, hey, that guy made a good point, but I don't know who he is.
Right.
Yeah, I have no idea who that person was.
Who's this Basti character?
Here, I'll pull up some.
Everybody knows Basti.
Some stock footage of the various armors that we've been seeing recently. There you go, guys. Some stock footage.
Who do you guys think has the best heavy assault right now?
Sexiest, you mean?
I don't see the BS being the best.
Oh, dude, careful.
Uh-oh.
As much as I hate to say it, I think the TR looked the best.
I'm gonna agree there. I think it's TR for me, and then NC after that, and then a VS.
I love the way VR look across the board.
Now.
The VS heavy fell down the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down.
Have you not looked at the top of their helmet? For their heavy assault, it looks like they have a fin, and I'm thinking a fish.
Okay, dude, run! I will find you. I will destroy you.
It's okay, Basti. You can still think they're good. Your faction is good, but they're just ugly. It's okay.
I will destroy you as well.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah.
Well, I must admit that
I don't know what's up with the VS Mohawk there, but that is a little strange.
It's for headbutting you, so we can cave your face in.
Ah.
Yes, exactly.
It's our alternate melee attack.
Alternate melee attack, yeah.
ram
I
it.
can see that.
You bend over and ram people.
Yeah, lower head in charge, I guess.
By bend over, I mean never.
The VS are very
My
adept
my
at bending
my
over.
minigun is gonna be behind you. Mini
So-
gun.
Actually,
Gonna shoot
that.
hot lead into your ass.
Oh, moving on.
Before we get too off topic with that one.
I was just gonna say, actually, we're kind of we're moving to the roundtable discussion now. So this is kind of the point in the show where this is kind of the final thing we do, where you guys kind of bring up some things that you want to talk about in particular. We've touched on a lot of interesting things during the show so far.
Yeah,
and this is kind
good
of
topics, good discussion.
yeah, we've had some really good discussion tonight. Unfortunately, Higby's missing it. He's out partying at the Curse Party in Boston with
Should be
MG
partying with us.
with MG Falcon and Tiger Smith and Goku and all those guys are out there chilling with Higby right now at the party at PAX.
Don't worry, they're filling in with drinks, and we'll get better information out of them.
That's right.
We have
Yeah.
to give a shout out to MG Falcon for doing that interview
Yes,
for us
for
at
sure.
PAX.
Yes.
Once
Oh,
you
yeah.
see this, we very much appreciate it.
Yes, he did an awesome job. For your first time ever doing an interview, going face to face with a creative director for a multi-million-dollar probably franchise that's going to be coming along is kind of a little bit of pressure that I put on him on that one. He did a good job.
Yeah, matter of fact, all of our new people at PSU, actually,
Sure.
we probably should to mention that. I'd like to welcome the moderators that we've brought on board here.
Yes, indeed. Basti being here with us right now
Yeah.
as one of our new moderators, and Cutter John, who's I know he's chilling out in IRC, and Goku has kind of been a moderator for the Tech Forum all along, but is now more of a moderator. I guess he's a PlanetSide 2 discussion moderator, and we'll probably expand some folks to moderate some other forums. But definitely thank you guys for accepting your offers to become moderators.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
I'm already abusing that.
Sorry.
As much
Don't-
as possible.
don't bring it
Why
up.
can't I ban?
Sorry.
He's got an itchy band finger.
See, if there's one
Ban.
thing, if there's one thing that I have
NC.
learned over the years, it's that immediately banning people does not work. There has
I would
to.
just ban all the NC.
Oh, okay.
Higby first.
Shut up, fish!
Ban them all.
Just search by Empire and then just set a ban.
That fish can talk.
What?
Oh. Come on, guys,
Okay,
play
actually,
nice.
You just overtook Higby as the first being banned.
Yeah, right.
You're
That's
asking
what
for a
you
lot of
get.
trouble, aren't you?
He wants to ban people.
Evil Pig said, Basti, don't drink and moderate.
I'm speaking from experience as well. That's probably not a good idea.
But actually, no, I didn't do it for the banning, the modding. I did it for the goals. Because we all know being a PSU mod gets you all the goals.
That's right.
So far, no one showed up, but
Not yet. It's coming. Don't worry.
Well, hopefully,
They're boxed.
hopefully all those guys out in PAX will, get done with their partying and then come in and watch the video here for AGN. So-
Right.
I hope so.
Girls
indeed.
play games? Oh, wait.
No.
There'll be plenty of time to watch the video tomorrow when they're hungover.
Yes.
That's true.
It's like, oh, what are they talking about?
Wait, what? All right. So what do you guys have for roundtable discussions other than random?
Yeah,
There's
faction
something
bashing.
someone brought up earlier, I believe, in AGN chat that we said we were going to get at the end.
I got something up my sleeve, for my outfit. When we were discussing about dark light, being replaced as instead of being a implant now, being a weapon attachment.
That sounds pretty scary because it's like, oh, there's a cloaker, and you're like frantically looking around trying to, put your dark light, camera or whatever it is you know, trying to find that cloaker.
Yeah, I know. It's well, if you think about it, the dark light implant has been just like a big benefactor, for any player, to look for cloakers that sneak up behind you during a base capture.
Yeah, there was
I think the idea behind dark light flashlight attachment is basically that you actually have a trade-off going on. Like if you have a dark light attached, you don't have a forward grip, or I mean, we don't know what the status is for forward grip or anything. A lot of people don't like that, but you don't have a grenade attachment on there or any other attachment. You have a dark light flashlight instead, more likely.
That sounds about right.
I don't really
Definitely
hate it
hit it
or
on the head there.
dislike it or like it, to be honest. So,
Indifferent.
It's still in the works. I mean, someone in my in the outfit brought it up. It's like, what do you mean? And we got into a heated argument about it. And we thought, yeah, it's not a good idea.
I think a lot of it's going to be how well they implement cloaking, because I guess I understand that the movement is going to be a little bit different as a cloaker. You're going to have to be you're going to be a little bit more visible if you're moving around. Certainly, I think with what you carry, I think if you're carrying a sniper rifle, you're not quite as invisible as you are. So, I mean, I think it's going to depend
coming
on how
from
they,
the cloaker side of it, being a cloaker, it's going to be kind of awesome if it has to be a trade-off. Not everybody's going to be running around with it, which is very beneficial to a cloaker.
Right.
So
yeah, it's what Evil Pig is saying right now on IRC. He says that cloaking is works different in PlanetSide 2.
Yeah.
Right. I think they said something about that you won't be able to cloak indefinitely, but you might be able to like train to get to that point.
like increase your cloak
what
time.
You carry. There was talk about if you're carrying a sniper rifle, you have a limited duration on your cloak. You can't fire while cloaked.
Right.
But the rules for when you're not carrying a sniper rifle, when you're carrying the light rifles, there was no information about that.
But it does seem that the conditions for which cloakers exist and their visibility is going to be a little bit different. So having the dark light as a weapon attachment may not sound as horrifying as it does to us, PlanetSide 1 players who just kind of go, ah.
In PlanetSide 1, everybody had dark light implant.
Right.
Which is annoying for someone who is strictly playing cloaker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't walk 5 feet.
Yeah,
if you don't have...
Go ahead.
Like, if you were a cloaker and you didn't have, sensor shield or jammers, you're pretty much going to get found out instantly.
Jammers? Who needs jammers? Got a boomer, that's all you need.
No, I need a jammer.
Yeah, but it's getting close enough to plant that boomer when you don't have sensor. That's
sensor shield is definitely needed, but the boomer you can use to clear out most backdoor mines. You only really need to take care of one landmine in order to get inside bases.
There's that. Now I'm noticing that cloakers are actually much more, and when they're moving out, say for example sprinting, you actually see them much more clearly. Like it looks like an afterform, and when they're walking, you actually see the motion of their field that they're in. I
assume that that's from the video that Higby was shooting. That we saw the cloaker.
I saw that.
It may look different to a friendly versus an enemy, right?
Friendly enemy. Actually, I've looked at enemy a little closely, and you can see them barely. Just have to really look closely. Well, I don't expect anybody to stare at their screen hard enough, just to find the little movement.
Not
if
blinking.
you ever played a mod for Half-Life called The Hidden, that'll do wonders for your perception of cloakers. It has a much basically something parameters. Basically, guys jumping around and you have a group of guys trying to kill him, but the guy has a very, very heavy cloak, and there's only very minor movements detectable. And it's been done before, but I'm really trying to. I don't think we've seen. I'm trying to dredge up, but somewhere in my memory, it's niggling at me that Higby said that if you aren't using the full sniper rifle, you do have infinite cloak. And I'd really hate to see if Infinite Cloak goes away for like guys carrying only a pistol. I'd like to see that continued.
Well, yeah. I guess the reason they may do it like that is because, you know, those guys that just want to get behind enemy lines, cloak, you know, do like, you know, scouting, you know, sabotage, that kind of thing, then they have the advantage that they can stay cloaked. But guys that just want to like be semi-invisible and get, you know, kill guys with a pistol or a sniper rifle, then they have to have that trade-off.
Did they say that also they won't be giving no, the cloakers won't also be using the snipers, but also be able to get, what was it, the suppressor? The SMG?
Light SMG, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, no, the standard SMG that you spawn up with after you die, in PlanetSide.
There was no naming of it. There was just a class of weaponry given.
Light assault and sniper rifles, was it not? From what I, maybe I'm wrong.
I think that's about it. I don't know.
And then pistols and boomers, and if they're calling them boomers.
We're all gonna call it boomers anyways.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen for sure. Everybody's gonna call it boomer, no question.
Man, I had some boomer fun myself in PlanetSide 1.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
Somebody was right. The C4, as we saw it, looked a lot like a router, like a home Linksys router or whatever.
Yeah,
it does.
Well, attend your home when you blow up.
Yeah, you attempt to walk through and see if you can go to where all these people are coming from, and all of a sudden you get this nice flash of light in your face.
But no, the C4 does look too much like a router. I know myself and some others harped on the antenna design because, for me, it really looks like a microphone antenna back in the receiver in the rack. It's long obligated, and it really does have too much size for what it is. And there's like new tech coming down the line even as we speak. This is 600 years in the future. The antenna tech we have now and we'll have shortly is massively reduce the size of antennas you could have the entire thing hooked into the undercarriage that thing's attached to.
I think they just need to make it like not a rectangle. Just make it like circular or triangular.
Or give it some indication that it is explosives.
Some sort of like ominous thing on it that says, "Hey, you're gonna die if it's next to you."
Point towards enemy.
You didn't have to do that with Boomer. You saw that thing go down. You ran.
That sounds like it sounds like you're trying to act like a troll. Usually.
Oh,
you guys, how the boomer was, you could hear it like, it'd make that noise, and then like, oh crap, a boomer. Do you think maybe they'd make the new ones like you won't hear anything? It'll just be an explosion and then you're dead.
Yeah, if cloakers can carry it, I would hope that they would give you some kind of indication. Because if you have like a moment where there's nothing you could do, like if a boomer's laid down like directly on your feet and you heard it, you were paying attention, and you moved immediately in the right direction, you would survive and be able to fight off the cloaker more likely. But if they have something where it's like a cloaker just like drops a bomb at your feet, that's if they can. We don't really know if they can plant explosives in PlanetSide 2. If they can do that and there's no warning or indication, a lot of people would just be angry. I think ultimately it would just be more harmful to the cloakers because everyone would think that having dark light would be the ultimate trade-off and that everything else wasn't as useful.
Right.
And everyone would get paranoid. Everyone would get paranoid and just flashlight everywhere.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, you know how it is. If cloakers are given the ability, to put, the explosives down, like in PlanetSide, they could take advantage of that because you wouldn't be able to hear it when you're, having definite, gunfire going around.
I was always a fan of the satchel charge in Tribes 2. I think it should sound like that. Does anybody remember what that sounds? I know Mars does.
Unfortunately, yeah.
I don't think that it should not have a sound. Being a cloaker, I mean, like backdoor breaches, for instance, is a good example. When I was playing my cloaker, I would just sit on the wall, wait until there's a bunch of people piled up, jump down there. They're busy. Right. They're getting shot at. Drop one, kill myself, kill, 20 people?
Yeah.
I mean, if it has no noise, like I'd have to kill myself because there was a noise when you put them down, or people saw them. You would have to kill yourself.
I think how they
use
could
a
make
beep
it
for
also
the arming charge. That has a warning of that. However, there's something else to the boomers versus like in BF, the C4, it's throwable. You toss it. You can attach it to things at range. The CE, you always have to be on the surface, and you have to deliberately place it down. And I think that actually, in itself, that mechanic of having to deliberately place rather than toss, could actually be a gigantic balancing factor.
Tossing, bad idea, I think. Especially if a cloaker can carry it, and especially if it has no sound. Bad.
Because I know there was a thread earlier we were talking about the various ways, if you could, because there's also thoughts you could attach the C4 to vehicles, and we were basically talking about the various things you would do with that. Because people are already complaining about like Humvees being hooked up with explosives running and attacking BF, which is something I love.
There's a term that we call those jihad jeeps.
I've seen some interesting battlefield videos with the jihad jeeps.
Yeah, we were talking about like what we do. What you put the C4 on an ATV, and they load the ATV up into a gallon, and you drop the gallon in AMS. You can do all sorts of these combos that are just incredibly nasty. Another thing that came up in the thread was if you were cloaked on a Wraith, could you drive by plant, like drive by and toss a C4 out on the side of a tank and keep on going?
Circle back around,
cool.
rinse, repeat.
I hope
rinse,
not.
repeat.
Oh, that would be crazy.
Well, at least one. You know, like have like one little deployable for the ATV. Like if they're trying to escape from a vehicle, and you know they just like dropped it as like a last-ditch effort to try to get that vehicle off them.
Well, there's another thing is that we don't know the explosion size on these things, and we also don't know how many we can carry. I think it's been stated that this is going to take up the grenade slot, so
Yeah,
I don't
so
think we'll be like taking like one of these. So if we really can carry one, probably going to be a pretty big explosive.
Right.
One's all you need.
Right.
Yeah, but it depends on how strong the vehicles are going to be. The tanks, the aircrafts. What's their strength wise when you put the C4 down?
Right, and that was one of the side grades too, was to get some under armor for surviving mines and explosions. So
I can see that one being a big. A lot of people using that. So
yes.
Me being one.
a lot of times you'd roll up on places. It's like, oh, there's a mine. Oh no, stop! Bang. Okay.
There's something that was mentioned today in the interview. Was there's going to be a bunch of different mine types: heavy, medium, and light mines. I believe he said, or something along those lines.
I missed that.
Yeah, it said heavy mines, infantry. What else? Vehicle mines. Standard land mines. He doesn't know how many more they're going to be adding on.
Right.
I hope that they make some sort of mine layer option for vehicles to speed up processes.
That'd be pretty cool for engineers and stuff.
Yeah, an engineer mod that hooks into the like a magret or the MBT tree where it trades off like maybe the main cannon for a mine layer attachment.
That or be able to detect mines and remove them.
Maybe a mine detector on the front of it, or maybe a blast shield against mines. But I'm looking for more something that can deploy fields of mines in a relatively short amount of time. But you'd have to customize like specific mine types, and you wouldn't be able to change them once you're locked in.
That would be a more of a engineer dedicated character.
Yeah, engineer with a side of mag.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty scary thought for an NC right here.
Well, just think about it. If you were doing the, like we were talking about earlier with the driver gunners, we were having a dedicated gunner, and you created your cannon for a landmine dropper. If you're running away, you start dropping mines. You can definitely get away from enemy ground vehicles that way, or at least help you.
Oh, I like this idea. Deployable mines for water.
That would be awesome.
For you VS people that like to farm us from the water.
That's right, Beth.
You have to like dedicate all of your your tree points.
Drop them?
I don't know,
You need, like,
but
a lib.
it would be awesome.
Mine layer cannon.
Now someone
brought
brought
for
a
a
good idea.
gigantic sea mine drop, like one of those World War II large spiked mines.
Right.
Man, I would totally
that'd be awesome.
I would totally sort all my stuff just to
Have a magnetic so that they move toward the
just so that unexpecting VS player rolls into it and explodes. Sorry. You can hear my hatred for the water farming.
Yeah, well, I think
Someone
we've all-
actually came up with a good idea about having aircraft, like Liberators, drop mines.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. You could be like.
Or in the future, the whole naval aspect. We forget in the future the naval aspect. If they do that, that's something that could be. I mean, they do have for submarines. They do have what was the
minesweepers.
What are they called? Yeah, whatever they're called. I mean, it happens in real life.
I don't know what you're talking
Well,
about.
I was thinking you could trade out
Underwater mines, whatever they're called.
Depth charges, yeah.
Exactly.
Depth charges.
That'd be badass.
But,
depth charges
do I
aren't so
expect
much
this-
mines as explosives.
Yeah.
I do, but I do expect to see, if the naval aspect of PlanetSide 2 does come into effect, like later on after the release. I do expect to see a lot more people going out onto the sea line than on the ground.
Yeah, if we do get the naval stuff in, I want to see Liberators being able to drop torpedoes.
And hit
Yeah,
and
that would be
hitting
funny.
submarines.
That would be interesting.
Small one-man subs, probably.
Airboats.
Small man subs, like about say six-man team in a sub.
You could have multiple times transport and small attack things, but that's for a later date.
Yeah, well, when they release more data on that.
Well, that's not
That's-
going to be in that release. That's going to be
UVS are going to get those mines in the water, if I have my say.
Hear that, Basti?
He's not talking
No.
for
They'll
fear
bomb
I
you
will
out
ban
in
him.
fish homes.
I have moderator too, Basti. Go ahead and say something.
She is admin.
She has ban
I
access.
can't.
Hama leaves his computer unlocked all the
No,
time.
she doesn't need that. Super moderators have ban access, so. Oh.
Super moderator.
That's what she is. She's a
okay,
super
guys, I've
mod.
earned it. That's all I gotta say
All
about
of
that.
UNC and Tiascom will just die. Because that's
Okay, I'm
what
good
we
with that.
do.
So,
We kill.
TR's gonna turn everything red. We're gonna take over the world.
Yeah, right.
so we're getting
Welcome
pretty.
to faction infighting once
Okay.
again, ladies and gentlemen.
I was
No,
gonna-
seriously, guys. When you're at your base and in the dirt, just fighting, and you see this purple color,
I
this
kill it.
purple light coming over the hill, and you see this purple glowing VS Max. That is me,
Oh,
and that
okay.
is shit is going
A
down.
Max
on
or
you.
a Barney
this
dinosaur?
is
Oh, sorry.
indicating me to shoot at you.
Max with your glitter wings.
Literally.
Immediately kill him. Kill the fish head.
Fish head.
I feel this discussion is degrading into a faction trash talk
Yes.
session.
Yeah.
so-
It's gonna, it
I
already
was,
has, sir.
Barney
just
is my
about
favorite
to-
dinosaur. Oh wait, sorry.
I was just about to get back to talking about the different mines, and I was wondering how everyone thought that the different mine types might affect metagame. Like, what, like, are we gonna see like all like certain mines really just showing up in like certain places, like roads having all the anti-tank mines, and like entryways to like bases and doors and stuff having like the anti-personnel mines, and other mines being in other places? Or do you think people are just gonna place them wherever?
They'll probably be deliberated. They'll definitely be deliberate. However, if they're smart, they won't place the anti-vehicle mines on the road. They'll place the anti-vehicle mines to one side of the road or the other side, because nobody drives on the road.
No,
Because there are
that's
mines on
right.
the road.
Right. Certain
I'm
choke
starting to see
points.
more cross-country drives going on all the tanks. They will not drive on the roads unless they absolutely must.
It does seem that they're trying to have a few more choke points too for those larger vehicles, where there's going to be places where there's no other place to go but through this one spot. So
Unless you want to go way out of the way.
way around, yeah.
Right.
And most people aren't that patient. They want to get to the battle.
Fast, yeah, and it will cost them dearly.
Right. So there's a place where I see heavy mines being highly used.
As far Day One just said in the chat, said you think the engineer will have some sort of anti-mine tool, like you guys were talking about earlier. There might be like a vehicle with a minesweeper ability, kind of like
Yeah.
the crocodile.
There was
Yeah.
talk
I actually
about the
think-
jammer grenades
Yeah.
being set up for light assault and infiltrator, I believe. Either that, or I remember it was in one of the interviews where Higby's talking about they're going to limit the jammer mines to classes.
I'm
so
looking at it
that's
right
probably
now.
how they're going to be dealt with.
It was actually that was just mentioned in the PSU interview. Actually, jammer grenades.
Did not see that.
Yeah, he said that they had not determined specifically. Right now, in the builds that they have, everybody has access to everything, but they haven't determined, if specific class will be able to use jammer grenades.
Right.
Lunar Child said Liberator mine launcher. Instead of dropping bombs, it drops minefields. Something tells me that would be a bit overpowered.
No.
That could be pretty cool,
Scares,
actually. Awesome.
scares most tank drivers already. I think most of my outfit, if they were listening to this, they probably are scared since they drive tanks most of the time.
Putting mines from the air, that just sounds bad.
Well, I think it depends on the amount of mines you could drop. I mean, if you could drop, 500 mines, that might be a little scary.
That could be a
Oh,
problem.
let's just litter this.
Toning it down to 20 mines, because having that kind of ability would require a lot more team effort.
I'm
And
not.
they could
a
be
fan
less
of
powerful
airdrop
mines as
mines.
well.
That actually seems like a good idea.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like a weaker variety that's generally good against everything, but it's a lot weak. Well, it won't do serious damage. It's just as a deterrent.
Right.
Yeah, it just doesn't say you throw a small grenade to a tank. It just does a little dent damage.
It's kind of like a deterrent, like you said, try to channel the enemy into one specific area. Let's lay a, nice little minefield over there so they avoid this area.
I just still think that it would be overpowered having an air vehicle being able to do that, but it's a pipe dream.
Crazy Duckling brought up an interesting question, saying, should there be a heavier ground unit than the current tanks, not necessarily BFRs? I say no.
I like the idea of heavy tanks.
I like the idea of heavy tanks. I haven't seen them implemented well yet, though. I actually do like the ideas behind the BFRs. The idea of a regenerating shield instead of having a higher capacity of armor. That mechanic I thought was pretty good.
BFRs tend to be like the biggest target on the battlefield, and everyone
Which is
will go
their
straight
intention.
for it.
Yeah, that's the intention of a heavy tank.
Right. If we had heavy tanks, would you guys prefer it to be one that could, drive around the battlefield to be used, or would you prefer the heavy tank to be driven to the area and then deployed and then it's immobile?
That's like artillery, and I'd rather have something that's mobile on the field. There's slower, heavier armor and a higher firepower and a higher manpower requirement.
Oh yeah, but also requires the most resources, for ground, unit.
Absolutely, I think a heavy tank would have to be something that, requires a decent number of people to operate efficiently. But you can't really make it casual friendly. I mean, I know I sound elitist when I say that, but it's if you make it so that you have a bunch of people go in there, everyone's going to want to pull the heaviest thing they can pull and be yeah, this is awesome, I'm invincible with it. But then that just breaks the purpose of having a heavy tank, and you just have heavy tanks hitting heavy tanks and just blowing each other up. Well, I think that they really need to have a presence that actually is dominant in the field and make people feel like it has to be destroyed.
Outfit battleships that we were talking about at the very beginning. That it really does require a ton of group effort and a lot of cohesion in order to pull off and make it work, and so it just doesn't become a boondoggle on the field, and that it requires a large amount of resources.
Right.
All right, guys. We're starting to run out of time. Actually, we're winding down to the last 5 or 10 minutes or so. Any final thoughts? Any final things you guys want to bring up quickly?
Just something that GTS Juffer said in chat, that somebody might be NG, lay a bunch of mines, and then switch to heavy assault. I hope they don't make it like that. That you can just deploy your mines and then play as another class. I think if you play as NG, that's the only time you can have your mines. They'll deconstruct if you switch class.
A lot of people hate on mines, and I really don't get it. They're really easy to remove and take a long time to set up.
Was it like that?
If you can take the time to set up minefields, and I see no reason why you shouldn't go off to play other stuff. That's what I normally do. I slap down my 20 mines in the gateway, hoping somebody will take care of the other one, and then go off and play cloaker or sniper.
Yeah, I see nothing wrong with having an engineer lay stuff down and play heavy assault. It doesn't really change anything. It doesn't make the mines any more dangerous or anything. It doesn't really make them any more of a threat. It would just be boring. It would kind of just be undermining if it was alright, you lay down as much as you can, I'll just sit here and wait for a while.
So I guess would you want it to be that NGs don't get mines right away? They have to cert it?
It's probably going to be starting up, branching off into specificities.
I think we need mines right away.
Right, we just need to wait until the game's balanced out, get all the kinks, and then he'll look at adding in more equipment for engineer class.
I think with like vehicles being able to have a utility slot for EMP and stuff like that, we're not going to see like a bunch of players laying mines down all over everywhere, since it takes a while to like properly lay them into a good place, and then you still have like a vehicle just come up and destroy it, or like you can lay down so many mines and just not get anything from it. So
Right.
I think a lot of players are like, even if you let it so that they can lay down like 50 mines in the beginning, like a lot of players are still not going to lay down as many mines as you might think.
All right. Well, anybody have any closing thoughts, parting comments before we wrap things up?
Good discussion tonight, guys.
Yeah, awesome discussion for sure.
Just want to say thanks for having me on tonight. It's been a pleasure.
Same here. Thank you for having me on as well.
Yes, guys. Well, welcome the newcomers, and
Yep.
we hope you come back and visit us again.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
It's always awesome doing this. Also, a massive shout out for the devs and a big thank you to them for being so involved in the community. And thank you to the two of them who are rummaging around in IRC. And I hope everybody at PAX is having a freaking great time if you're listening in from there.
I doubt they're
Same here.
listening to us, but they can watch it later.
Right.
They're probably getting heavily drunk and
Yes.
dancing
Yes.
right now. So
Inebriated.
Intoxication probably does trump
if you've
AGN,
ever partied in
unfortunately.
Boston, you'd understand.
Well, when you get an open bar, that's just something that you can't go wrong with.
Yeah.
Well, you can go wrong, but
Go very wrong.
you can go very wrong with it. But I'm sure that they're having some fun out there. It figures the second, like a year after I move away from Boston, they start having a freaking gaming conference up there.
Of course.
Jerks.
Easy now.
I know, man. Because I would be there right now, if I'd still lived in Boston. Oh well, I'm in a better place now. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you for participating, and we'll be doing this again next month for sure. I'm going to try and get into the practice of announcing the date sooner than I have been. It's just that things tend to happen that delay the process. One thing I know for sure is that we'll be having one in the first week of June, because E3 is happening and apparently something awesome is going to happen.
Yeah. So you can definitely count on some AGN coverage on that day for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm going to go ahead and jump out of the channel, guys, so that you can talk amongst yourselves.
Again, thank everybody for participating this evening.
Yes.
And remember, when Hamma announces next month's show, be sure to hit him up with a PM if you're interested in being on the panel.
Right.
Definitely.
And never hurts to join the AGN TeamSpeak and wait in the screen room. If we have a no-show, you might get picked.
Yeah.
Right.
So
We usually pick about 5 people because we find that if we have too many, it just gets out of control. I think 5 is a pretty sweet spot. So
Yeah, it gives everybody a chance to really express themselves and give their
Yeah.
views. You get too many people, then it's hard. Somebody ends up getting left
too
out.
many cooks in the kitchen.
Right.
yeah, it can become
Nothing
a
gets
disaster.
done.
It can become a disaster for sure. So we try and keep it low. I'd like to do these more often than once a month, but they are quite a bit of work to put on. So once a month right now is kind of the sweet spot in order to,
Maybe as we get closer to beta in the
Yeah.
game, when there's really a lot more to do, we may, increase that.
Yeah, I'm sure at some point we probably will. Right now there's a lot of prep work involved, and, I spend the majority of my Saturday prepping for AGN, so we'll probably continue just doing them once a month, unless something crazy happens, obviously, like E3 or something like that that falls outside of our monthly. But these gaming conferences always happen at the perfect time, at the
Yes.
beginning of the month.
Yes.
It's almost like they planned it for AGN.
They probably did.
But anyway, one thing I want to mention before we call it a night tonight is to follow us all on Twitter. We're all available out there, and you can kind of follow what we're up to, and you can follow PlanetSide Universe as well. and you know, you can always see what's going on with PSU, and you'll never miss the latest news. You know, we're always tweeting. You know, every time there's a news update, there's a tweet. You know, every time you know, I'm doing something interesting on the site, I tend to tweet about it. And you know, so definitely follow us on Twitter, and you know, give us your feedback through the forums or through Twitter on the show, and let us know what you think of it, so that we can, you know, make any improvements that we need to make. But definitely follow us, and PlanetSide Universe. PlanetSide Universe is also on Facebook, so be sure to like us there, or become a fan, or whatever they're calling it on Facebook these days. I think it's like.
Yeah, I think so.
So go ahead and like us on Facebook. You can search for us, PlanetSide Universe, and actually I think the URL is facebook.com/planetside.universe. I think, yes. So facebook.com/planetside.universe. So go ahead and like us there. You know, we're always posting stuff, and you know, follow us on Twitter, and you know, next show we'll have another topic list, and I'm sure we'll have some interesting things, and maybe we can get some special guests on again. We're always trying to do that if we can, and so we'll see how things go. But until next time, I want to thank everybody for participating in the show tonight. It was a great show. We had some awesome discussions, some pretty passionate discussions.
Yes. Yes.
So it was a great show, and thanks to all of our viewers for tuning in. And you can catch the recording of this probably sometime tomorrow. Takes a while to get it uploaded to YouTube.
Oh, I can't forget. I always do this. Shout out to Ham's mom.
Oh,
she's always listening.
I forgot my mom.
God.
And we're not there for Easter, so happy Easter.
Hi, Mom.
And even though they're not watching us, a shout out to everybody at PAX, and thanks again to MG Falcon for putting that together, that great interview.
Doing an awesome interview for us, and you know, representing the community up at PAX. Thank you for doing that, and you know, thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will catch you next month at the beginning of May. Yes, May. Yes. We'll catch you at the beginning of May for the next show. We'll try and get it announced here within the next week or two, so that you guys can mark your calendars. And like I said, like Jenny said, if you want to participate, be sure that you get on there and send myself and Marsman, or Marsman, either or, a PM, and just let us know that you're going to participate, so that we have an idea of how many people are going to show up, and we can kind of have an idea ahead of time of who's going to participate. So
we'd like to have you aboard.
Indeed. So everybody have a great month, and stay tuned to PlanetSide Universe for more PAX East news. We don't have another Q&A, but I know that we're going to see some more coming out over the next couple days. So definitely be sure you keep an eye out for that, and we will catch you next time. Have a great one.
Good night.
Bye-bye.